we're a few minutes early, but I think that we can't fit any more into this room, and certainly in the other overflow rooms. I've been into many meetings here at this auditorium and in the company, and there's never been a bigger demand for space than today. So wonderful. It is a special day today for us because of our special guest. I want you to welcome him. I guess went to visit Warren about 2.5, 3 months ago, and we spent the better part of half a day together and just talked. And at the end of the meeting, he asked me, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And I said, "There is, Warren. I'd love for you to come at the beginning of July and spend a few hours with all our great employees of this wonderful company, wonderful system." And he said immediately yes, and that's why we're here today. It's a really wonderful, wonderful event in our history to have Warren back. He's a great, great friend of the Coca-Cola company, Coca-Cola system, and we're going to tap into his insights today as to how we embark upon the next journey of creating sustainable growth for our business and creating sustainable shareholder value, which over the last 3 years or so under Neville's leadership, he has stewarded this process so well, and we have really come a long way since the 2000s, where we had lost our way. I say that very openly. When you're in a growth business and you can't grow your side of the business, you kind of lose your way. But we've come quite a way in terms of how we work with our partners, our customers, our bottlers, how we've focused on the 3 pillars of inspirational consumer marketing, of commercial leadership, and of working well with our bottlers, which is franchise leadership. Our portfolio is richer. We, most importantly, have proven to ourselves that we can grow trademark Coca-Cola again in the world. Without growth of trademark Coca-Cola, there's no oxygen. You've heard me say that before. And thank goodness today in the cafeteria, what did Warren go and drink? Red Coca-Cola. And I know that when Warren... We have our bottlers' appetite compared to 3, 4, 5 years ago for investment and for new franchise territories is at a level that I've never seen it being that high, that their passion for investment is high. So we have, and we've launched Coca-Cola Zero, the most successful launch we've had in 20 years, now in almost 100 markets. Growing double-digit across the world, including not only in the United States, but everywhere where it's been launched. It's doing fantastic, creating excitement. But the most important thing is the spirit to win that I see is back. Thanks to all of you, wonderful, wonderful colleagues across the world, the spirit of winning is back. And I want to especially thank all of you for that. I know that Neville wants to thank all of you for that. But there is so much more to do. You know, this phrase of constructive discontent. There's so much more to do. We're in a wonderful business. And if you look all around the world, growth in middle class, particularly in emerging countries, between now and 2015, 700 million more people are going to become middle class. That's 2 times the size of the United States. They're going to become urban. They're going to live in cities. So therefore there'll be more people with more money demanding more non-alcoholic beverages. And we will be there to take the winning share of that wonderful, wonderful demand. But that same demand And that same middle-class growth is creating some tension in the world. More demand for food, commodity, energy. And we're seeing a new equilibrium out there with energy prices rising, food prices rising, putting strains on our supply chain. So we have to be so much more diligent in the way we work every day and rework every day our great system. So you'll hear me more every day talk about the 6 P. In addition to the 5 Ps in our manifesto, the 6 P, which is productivity. Because we need more fuel. To be successful, we need more fuel for our brands. Our business is all about brands. We have now, in addition to Coke, 12 $1 billion brands. And we're going to grow the number, and we're going to grow the value of the existing brands. Our main task is to ensure that we can steward the growth of our brands, the power of our brands. And we need more fuel for that, and that's going to come from productivity. And you'll hear me talk more and more about that. So the value of today is really going to be having a robust, great discussion with Warren and to tap into his incredible instinctive insights about business, this world iconic businessman. He is that. There's nowhere that I travel around the world where when I land there's not an article that I see in the local language about this wonderful friend of the Coca-Cola company. So today, Warren, I'll kick it off by maybe a question, and that is, and we're going to look back a little bit and we're going to look forward a little bit. But let me start by, in all your years of serving on the board of the Coca-Cola company, I think 17 years, what were the things that excited you the most, and what were some of the things that upset you the most?
Actually, my experience with Coke goes back 71 years, Muhtar. I don't know if we have any. Maybe I can win the award for that. That's the thing I win the awards for, being the oldest this or the oldest that. But 71 years ago, I used to buy 6 packs of Coke from my grandfather's grocery store for a quarter and go around the neighborhood. And it was plenty hot in Omaha and no air conditioning, and sell them for a nickel each. So I sort of peaked at that. I haven't found anything that profitable since. And 48 years ago, Don Keogh lived right across the street from me, 50 feet away in Omaha. And Don was a salesman for Butternut Coffee, and he couldn't figure out what I did. His kids used to come over and play in the yard with me every day. And I remember trying to get him to invest $5,000 with me. He said, "Do you think I'm going to give $5,000 to some guy who plays on the swings with Kathy all day? You're out of your mind." But Don went off to Houston. Butternut merged with Dunkin'. Dunkin' merged with Coke. And who would have guessed 48 years ago that we'd have the kind of association with the Coca-Cola company we have? And then in 1988, I started buying Coca-Cola stock for Berkshire Hathaway. And we bought about, the company was buying in its own stock. And I didn't want to tell Don we were buying it because I was afraid he might tell the legal counsel, and then they figured they had some kind of the public notice would be required. So I didn't call him. And we bought about 5% of the company, 4 or 5% of the company. And I got a call from Don one day, and he said, these are his exact words. He said, "You wouldn't be buying a share or two of the Coca-Cola company, would you, Warren?" And I told him we were. He invited me down here to Atlanta, and then he and Roberto very shortly thereafter asked me to join the board. And it was I had wonderful experiences there. Roberto became a very good friend. Don already was a very good friend. Jimmy Williams, a number of the others on the board became good friends, and we had a lot of great days. And then we ran into some tough times. Fortunately, we had the world's best product, so it took us through some adversity. And now we have the world's best product, the world's best management, the world's best people. So I don't think I'll have to go back to buying those 6-packs and reselling them. There were a lot of good times. I always look forward to coming to Atlanta and meeting with the board, because everybody they felt Coca-Cola all the way through their circulatory system. I mean, we were fans of the product, we were fans of the company, and it was almost like being involved in a private venture or something, because we had this intense interest in the business, and I still do. I mean, I drink 5 12-ounce servings of Coca-Cola a day, and here I am, 77, as healthy as can be. We have students from 42 universities come to Omaha every year, and I do these sessions with them. And to get them in the right mood, I fill them up with Coke to start with. And incidentally, I'm 77 now, but I plan to live to be about 100. And when I'm 100 and move on, I'm going to have my body given to the Harvard Medical School, and they can study the effects of Coca-Cola. I think Muhtar's already dreaming up the advertising campaign. So it's a great experience. I think one time somebody asked Mr. Woodruff whether it was a good time to sell Coca-Cola stock, and Mr. Woodruff replied, "I don't know. I've never sold any." And that's the way we are. We've bought 200 million shares. We've never sold a share, and it's a real pleasure to be back here.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you. Let's talk. You mentioned Don Keough. He's just recently written a really wonderful book called The 10 Commandments of Business Failure. And you, in your preface to the book, in your introduction, you said Don Keough is the perfect personification of the Coca-Cola brand, and he is Mr. Coca-Cola. And you got this wonderful half a century friendship with him, and you drove me when I was in Omaha to your house, and his house was just opposite yours. And although Don's house was bigger than Warren's house, I must say, because he had more children.
He was a good Catholic. He had more kids than I had.
But tell us a little bit about your friendship.
Well, it really started up. They lived right across the street from us, Don and Mickey, and we had kids of similar age. And I did have this jungle gym in the backyard, and Don never could figure out what I did. He'd go off every morning to sell coffee and wave to his kids goodbye, and they'd be over playing with me in the yard. And I got some of my best ideas that way, actually, when I was pushing the swing or something of the sort. We just, Mickey as well as Don, I mean, they're just a wonderful, wonderful couple. And Don has got this remarkable ability. I don't know whether Don's 81 now or something like that. He's on the board of Berkshire, because there's no better advisor. But Don has this incredible ability to connect with all generations. I mean, he is one of my best friends, and a whole lot of people my age, but my kids love him, my grandchildren love him, and my great-grandchildren haven't met him yet, but they'll love him too when they meet him. I mean,